Hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Today, the Duff Dog and I are going to do a little work on a customer vehicle. Well, I don't even know if it's a customer vehicle. It's Mickelson Racing's 1968 Chevrolet long box. This thing started life as a 3/4 ton, 2-wheel drive, small block, 4-speed. It's now got a big block with some type of fuel injection, 4L ADE. Converted it to half ton. We took all the suspension out of a 73 to 87, put in the front. Cut a couple coils, and in the back we found a 71 or 2 Chevy rear. I believe it's a limited slip, like 373 or 308, so pretty good gear and posi option for the rear. He's had this thing for like 15-ish years, and we all know how it goes. Be prepared, there's gonna be a lot of ripping in this thing, and not the pickup ripping, me ripping on the pickup. He gave me full disclosure to rip on this thing, and that's what I do. You guys rip on me on the internet. That's the internet's for, ripping on things, so be prepared. He wants me to de-Mickelson it. He's following his lifelong dream of becoming a Florida man, so we gotta get this thing ready for him to drive to Florida, and he's pulling a U-Haul trailer with it. And I don't know if he's ever pulled a trailer with it. Definitely hasn't since he's made it a half ton. I think he's got bags on the rear, but he's got a list. Let me show you what we got for a list here. I'll read it off to you. Brakes in all capital letters. He put some type of power brake conversion kit off the old Amazonia or eBay or something, and then we ditched all of that because it was terrible, and we put factory stuff on everything except the master cylinder. So I'm thinking it's got to be the master cylinder. They're hard, but they don't slow you down. So door alignment, he had somebody align the doors, and they're not very aligned, and they shut like hot garbage. The spare tire has a leak, easy enough. The gas tank hangs low like a soggy diaper. He wants to tow a car and trailer with 6,000 pounds, car and trailer. Right front tire is also leaking. Door window seals, oh man. The transmission cooler, we gotta mount that. It's held on by white zip ties. Yeah, and it's been that way for a long time. Miscellaneous underhood wiring, terribleness. Whatever else you feel like I butchered. Thanks a ton. I know your time isn't very valuable, and there aren't any higher priorities. Okay, maybe that's not what he said, but I reworded it. And then there's a bunch of other things that I noticed, and I'll see if I can touch on those. So he put his little mustache on the front here. I don't really care for that, but that's his deal. Left it on there. It's got some cool old pinstriping from when it was a service truck. I don't know if I like the black headlight surrounds or these goofy headlights, and he's missing the stainless in here. It's got a nice chrome bumper. It's pretty solid. Somebody's done some work. He paid a bunch of money for these doors. They're super solid doors, but they don't match. Then he started some high school body work back there back in the day. He said he just cut another half coil. I'm like, So I think I'm gonna check to make sure they're in the spring pockets. But we just, yeah, like I said, converted it to half tons. We painted these wheels Argent, blasting them, new Cooper Cobras. I think he's got 275/60s and 255/60s. Yeah, kind of our go-to size around here. But yeah, these doors, you just gotta whale them shut. He's missing the seals. He just put this 88 to 94 seat in it. It's pretty dang nice. He's got an aftermarket steering wheel. This needs to go. It needs a tilt. Again, it was a 4-speed. It's got a clutch pedal. It's got to go. But this aftermarket steering wheel is just completely unsafe, in my opinion. He does have a new dash pad. They're a pain, but maybe we'll get to it. Hey, go to mortske.com. Get yourself a Mortske air freshener. He's got a nice aftermarket radio that looks stock style. We could probably do a little bit better job of mounting that guy. He's got this dinky little shifter in it, and I do not agree. So I would like to find a tilt column with automatic and move everything up here. And he says, yeah, that'd be great, but those are real money. Here's the deal. I got a motorhome and a van all back with them in them, so we could probably steal one for him. Mickelson's just a good kid. He kind of shut down his own channel to help us out. He's doing editing on the second channel. He does a ton of behind the scenes stuff with mortske.com with our in-house merchandise. So hopefully he can continue to help with that stuff remotely in Florida, being Florida man, and maybe he can find us some stuff down there. Maybe we can go down and visit him. Yeah, we're just kind of helping him out here. Hopefully he gets to Florida safely with this thing, because that's why we're here. Like, we're gonna fix the bad stuff on this, the dangerous stuff, and then, you know, work our way up to the creature comforts. Or maybe we'll just go into the creature comforts, like tilt wheel and a solid steering wheel, because this thing is absolutely terrible. And we should probably check to make sure he's got seat belts. This is just a dummy fuel tank. Like I said, he's got the tank in the rear. Somebody did cab corners and rockers way back in the day. and you can see this line goes doot 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 doot, and then right where they put the cab corner, it goes at an angle. Oh, and they are rusting, and you can see where there's some Bondo. I mean, it's presentable, very presentable, but we should do something. Also, I kind of was hoping to fill these holes here. I was hoping he wouldn't put these mirrors on it, but too late. We did that when it was a 3/4 ton already. He put the topper on. He likes it, keeps his stuff dry, so whatever. This bumper is hideous and terrible, and we can't put a receiver hitch on because there's a fuel filler, and the license plate hits the fuel filler and also hits the ball. And I don't know about the tennis ball, or we don't know if it's got trailer lights. A little rust in the tailgate, but that's cool how they lettered this and then they like shadowed it, or I don't know what you call that, but this thing was pretty swanky in the day. And these hooks were for the tow unit that slid in the bed on this thing. Just got new exhaust put on it. I think we put singles on it, but yeah, body wise good. A lot of little piddly things. 68s were the last year of the sloped hood, and the first year of the marker lights and mandatory big back windows. Your worthless knowledge for you. Otherwise, the grill, everything's the same as a 67, but these are 68 only fenders, but they do fit 69 to 72 GMC, I think, but 67s don't have the marker light. Let's get the hood open. Duff, you ain't opened the hood in a while. He's nowhere to be found. Mojo's doing 12-volt conversion on the old 8N tractor because we're sick of buying 6-volt batteries. I guess I'll open it myself. So here's what we got. Tranny cooler held in by white zip ties. No bueno, because if those break and then it rubs against the radiator, you got a bad day. No flexi hoses. He does have a chrome alternator mount, and I don't know, I think it'd be cooler if the bolt went the other way, or better yet, didn't have a busted ear on this alternator so that you could actually use the threads in there. We got some spade clips here. Should have a stock style clip in there. When we converted from the cheesy little Chinese booster to a stock GM, I think this is a 73 to 87 or 67 to 72, we didn't have clearance for the big tall ugly valve covers, so we put a Target Master 366 Chevy truck valve cover on it because that's what we could find. Just a lot of bad stuff wiring wise going on around here. I don't like the air cleaner, but it works. He's got a, you know, big block built, all that good stuff, headers, and then a stock cast iron EGR delete manifold. He's got electric fans. You know how much of a fan I am of them. Look at, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 splices in those wires down there. Looks like we got an intake manifold leak. I don't know if it's coolant coming from that sensor. Kind of looks like it. Maybe it's oil. I don't know. We should probably fix that. Wiring, yeah, like you couldn't just run a new wire from there to there. No, we got to put a splice in it. This is a bonus rag for checking your dipstick, I suppose. We got a splice going there. It looks like a heat shrink splice that never got heated. Apparently it's got an MSD 6A on it, and then I don't know if it's what type of EFI Live or fast EFI or something. He's got some type of fuel injection unit under there. He says that all works good, so that's good for him. Blue plug wires, low car dipstick that's not held in, just kind of sitting in there friction wise. Yeah. First things first, let's do this master cylinder. This is a Corvette style. This is an aftermarket one, like I said, but you can tell by the way that it is, and also that it's got outlets on both the right and the left side. These are just plugs. So let's see if I got one on the shelf. Swap one on there, bleed some brakes, and we'll go from there. Because brakes was real high on his priority, as it should be. Oh, and he doesn't have power steering. He's missing some brackets or something going on down there. So that would be nice if he's going to drive it a long ways. I just don't get people in their priorities. Like, hey, let's get a chrome alternator and fancy aluminum pulleys, but let's not worry about making the brakes safe. Or, you know, get a piece of angle iron and mount our transcooler. So yeah, gonna be real heavy on the sarcasm and ripping on other people's stuff, but that's what we do on this channel. If you don't like it, I guess you can go watch somebody who's super nice about things, like Brent at Half-Ass Customs. Super good guy. Go check him out. He's rebuilding the shop right now. I'm gonna get this thing on the hoist because we're gonna have to bleed brakes, so we might as well pull it ahead onto the lift so that once we get the master swapped out, she's ready to go. It does actually run pretty well, but he's ridden in my dad's Buick, and he's like, yeah, that LS would stomp this thing, so he kind of wants to LS swap it, but we're kind of committed with the big block. Since we got new exhaust and EFI on and all that, it'd just be a pain to swap it all out, and you're probably not going to get much out of that big block anyway, because unfortunately, the rest of the world is going to LSs as well, so you're not getting big bucks out of big blocks like you used to 25 years ago. Changing of the guards. Is that what it is? Okay, here's what we got. This, I don't know, I'll give you a part number. It's supposed to be for the Transmero bird, 355-470-23. And this was some Speedway I had laying around. So these are actually the same thing. This is 1 1/16. The one that was on there, 1 1/8. Yeah, it's got the ports on both sides, but they're smaller. And so I'd have to have adapters, and let's just avoid that. So I think this Transmero bird has the same size fittings as we had, but it's 1 1/8, same as this was. So really we're not changing anything. So other than the cap style, but I kind of prefer the single bail clip with the rectangular lid. They just look better. I do like these, how they have ports on either side, but I mean, for universality, but since we know that we need them on this side on this thing, let's just have ports on one side. And then we'll just have to get a different one for the Transmero bird someday. I don't even know what we threw on that thing. Probably just something I had on the shelf. All right. They usually fit right up. There's only like so many bolt patterns. One thing you got to watch out for is some of them where the rod sticks out. Like these aftermarket ones have this plunger inside of there. You can see that plunger, and that one actually moves around. If your rod sticks way out, you got to pull that plunger out of there. And if your rod sits pretty much flush, then you got to put that plunger in there. So that's one thing a lot of people miss. Every one of us has run into it. I'm sure you have as well. We mounted the booster upside down. I don't know why, but we did. And they work fine upside down. Vacuum doesn't care which direction it's in. Let's see if this thing gets bolted up, and then we'll just bench bleed it on the pickup here, and we'll hook the lines up, see if it works, see if it's any better, maybe. One thing I like to do when you're doing a lot of modifications like this is do one at a time, take it for a drive, see where you're at. Because if I swapped this, and I did the steering column, and then I did the shifter, and then I lowered it, and then I cleaned up a bunch of wiring, and then I moved the fuel tank, and you just, if it doesn't run right, you're like, well, or it won't run, like, did we pinch a wire when we put the master on? Did we cut something when we were cutting the coils in the front? Did we forget to hook up a wire on the fuel tank or the column? Just one thing at a time. That's what sucks, is when you build a car from scratch, you don't even know which direction to go. But if you just change one thing at a time, you can kind of figure it out. And like I said, brakes are priority, so if this doesn't fix it, then we got to keep moving our way down the line on the brakes. But I'm pretty sure everything has been changed other than the proportioning valve. And the proportioning valve, it should be fine, right? Guess we're gonna find out. All right, we got our bleeding apparatus set in place. You can already see air bubbles coming out, so I'm gonna go inside, push the pedal a few times, and hopefully just hook the lines up and we'll be ready to go. You guys just watch for bubbles, or minnows, goldfish, alligators, whatever. You guys see any more bubbles? I couldn't hear you, so we're just gonna wing it and hope that they're good enough. And by good enough, I mean good enough for the girls we go with. I need to work on that logo one of these days so I can get that on a sticker. Come on. Moment of truth. I mean, I'm gonna go feel the pedal, you know, give her a good feel. It sounds awkward. It felt fine before, but it just didn't stop it, so we'll see how it feels now. And then of course it's gonna feel different when it's running. You got vacuum on the booster versus when it's not running. You know, I should just take it out of the road, but I don't want to, because then I gotta put it back on the hoist again. We'll see, maybe it'll go right to the floor. And then we got issues. Here goes nothing. Oh man, feels good. All right, we gotta drive it. Let's drive it. Well, now that it's open door season, Duff's out meandering around the yard, so we'll see if we can find him before we take off. Or maybe we'll just make a lap around the yard and determine we need to go back to the drawing board on the brakes. It is a fast EFI. That's the brand. I don't know if it's not fast. The brand is. The pickup is not. Keep wanting to grab the shifter. It's not there. I keep wanting to mash the clutch to the floor. There. It's stuck to the floor now, so I don't have to worry about stepping on that. They still kind of suck. So what's left? The proportioning valve? Awesome. Where are we going to find 67 to 72 proportioning valve? Because yeah, the front brakes, the rear brakes, it's all new, it's all different stuff. The line still exists. God dang, shifter. Well, there he is. You want to go for a ride, pal? Shifter again. I think we have to leave the yard. Yeah, they press really hard, but it doesn't really stop. You don't lock them up, but you really gotta ham on it. And if you pump it up like there's air in the system and then stab on it, doesn't make a difference, so it's not air. I mean, this thing should lock them up on the gravel in the yard. It does, but what do we got for proportioning valves around here? I suppose we could draft one off of a 73 to 87. And everybody's gonna say, well, it's because you got a proportioning valve for a drum brake and a disc brake. I don't know, I've done it before. It's never been an issue, I think. Let's take her out on the highway, huh, Duff? It is peppy-ish. I mean, it's not a complete slug. But yeah, you gotta hold her down hard when you're sitting at a brake light. Why would it pushes hard and doesn't stop? Does that mean we need a smaller diameter? But I think that's, well, I mean, that's the same diameter as that Trans Barrel Bird had. I guess we gotta look at like a stock master cylinder, what they should have for a 73 to 87. That's basically what this thing is. Sounds good. Oh yeah, she gets up and scoots. No speedometer, because it's got electrical output signal. I suppose you just go off the tack, figure out how fast you're going. There she went. stop you, but you really gotta push them hard. Oh yeah, power steering would be nice. Suppose it'll spin the tires. This is the other thing. You leave me your vehicle, and of course I'm gonna see if it'll smoke the tires. Oh, she just kind of hooks up the boogies. Single exhaust. Big singles. Yeah. Works for other things too, right, Honda? Okay, enough of that. Well, that is the donor frame that Mickelson got the front suspension out of. I think it's like a 78, 79. Half-ton two-wheel drive. And here is the proportioning valve. These go to your front left and front right, which that one just has one going to the front. This is your rear, and then you got your inputs, and then your light. So the only thing is different on that one is it doesn't have a left and a right, but the aftermarket ones are modeled very similar to this, and usually you can just run them both off of one. So we're gonna have to see how we get that thing mounted on there and go from there, because I'm guessing this is our front and this is our rear, and then same thing down here, front and rear. So we're probably gonna have to do some flaring and some plug-in and all that, because I'm guessing all those line sizes are not gonna be the same. Great, grand, wonderful!
Good, great, grand, wonderful!
What is this? Duff is all excited. Oh my word. Throttle her back, big boy. Things have escalated.
Oh, we came for you, buddy.
The wind's blowing that way. I think you're lost.
So look at the sign he gave us. Like the welcome.
We're so welcome that he came to North Dakota.
I love this guy. You're much skinnier in person.
No, buddies don't shake hands. Buddy's got a hug. Oh my gosh, I didn't see the light bars. You spent too much time in Oklahoma and decided to put that on you?
It's dark though.
You got pockets today?
You know what? I was gonna wear my dress with pockets. It was very windy.
Finally got rid of old Dee Dee Hack Shop and Mrs. Dee Dee. They're storing some fiberglass, Bricklin, Canadian-built, Ford-powered AMC suspension crap box out back before they can get her across the border. So he's got to come back. So maybe we'll be seeing more of him. In the meanwhile, we just eliminated the old proportioning valve. So let's just take that out of the factor and out of the equation, and let's see what she does. I should probably put that bolt in the master cylinder. Yeah. And then we'll test her out. definitely feels different. It's a breezy one today. Oh my gosh, it's got a slice, whatever you call it, wrapped around the mirror beret. Let's see. Oh, power steering should be on the list. If only it had as much whoa as it has go. Oh, I think they're better. I think that proportioning valve is the issue. I still don't like how hard they push. Why would they push so hard? Do we need a smaller diameter that we need? Or a larger diameter? Duff! Wanna go for a ride? I guess not. Silly pup. They didn't lock them up at like 5 miles an hour in the gravel, so. What did we put on? 1 1/8? He doesn't know what to think of this because it's not our pickup. Even though it's been in the yard longer than most of the stuff that's usually in the yard. So I'm not even going to explain what a proportioning valve does because somebody will tell me that I'm explaining it wrong, but basically it proportions the amount of brake fluid and not pressure, or maybe it's pressure and fluid. Okay, it proportions the amount of braking force applied to the front wheels versus the rear wheels, so that your rear wheels do not lock up before your front wheels, therefore causing a skid, and your arse end may pass your front end. How about that? So, applies more braking force in the front than the rear, so that you don't get all sketchy like. Better, I think. Man, we should go get my yellow 71 short bed running and go do some tests and see how that stops compared to this, because that's all factory 71 disc brakes, drum brakes, power brakes, master, all that. Suppose we could steal the proportioning valve out of it if we really needed to. Goodness gracious, power steer, or lack thereof. Hey, the horn works. I'm not totally sold on the brake application, but it's definitely better. I don't like the part that we have a splice in there, but really having the proportioning valve was doing the same thing because we had several connections, so I think it's fine. Oh, I got exhaust on this thing, it's good. Plus it's on that side so you don't hear it as much. But the people you're passing do. That's the way to do it. It's pretty good, right, Duff? Judging by the amount of stuff that slid forward in the bed, it's real good. Should have gotten Mickelson's draggy. He's got one of those things and done like 60 to 0 before and after. Just got a delivery this morning. We better check her out, huh, Duff? Never mind the crating that these came in, but Pookie's mom loves doing the rummage sailing in Lakes Country on the weekends. So Pookie's missus asked me if I wanted any of these car books. This lady wanted $5 a piece, and there's a whole row of them. And I said, see if she'll take 50 for all of them. Pookie's wife goes, I'm not gonna insult her like that. I said, just do it. They're books. They should go for like 15 to 25 cents a piece. And it's gonna take her 10 years to sell them at $5 a piece. So just see if she'll do it. So Pookie's mom went up there and was like, hey, I know this guy. He's into cars. These books will go to good use. $50 for all of them, the lady says. Absolutely. I'll get you some boxes with handles. Poise Plus, the best boxes known to woman. Let's see what we got here. Kind of already started looking through it. It's pretty good and pretty bad at the same time. Flat rate manual for 61. Keep them rolling with motors manuals. I don't know the year on this one. This got to be older than that one. From 35 to date. Mojo loves these things. Every time he's messing with an alternator or a carburetor or whatever, digs into them. So 88 Chevy, so that'll work for the 92. Here's an 82 Chevy, the light duty trucks, and the service news. Let's keep going through these motor manuals. Oh, it looks like we got a duplicate. Oh, that's flat rate in parts, and this is auto repair for 61. So we got to match that. Automatic transmission manual. You know we're never going to use that. Okay, maybe. A 79 guide. Yeah. I'm going to put that one at the bottom. I'm trying to organize these things by year, figure out which ones I want to keep, because I'm not a big book guy. But they are kind of handy. Some of them are kind of cool. That being said, if you see something in here you really need, like we'll get to some that I really want to get rid of, send us an email, mortskerepair@gmail.com. Shipping is probably going to be more than the book. So, I mean, probably sell these books for, I'm not trying to get rich, but then again, I got some time involved and yada, yada, yada. If I just shipped them all out, I couldn't make a video this week because I'd take all week shipping them out. So, I don't know. We'll have to figure out a price. Or better yet, here's the price plus shipping. All right, this one I kind of want to keep, or all these. So we got 61, 59, ooh, tilt cab, 4-wheel drive, Powermatic. Oh, that's a supplement for trucks. 59 truck. Oh, there's the 92. Definitely got to keep that to go with the OBFs. The thing with this is most of this stuff is on the internet. And that's why Mojo likes books, because Mojo doesn't know what the internet is. Chrysler electronic ignition, can probably let go. Delco starters and alternators, can probably let go. Delco filters and PCV valves, can probably let go. Oh, I wonder if you had any other good stuff. C&G 32 to 36 Ford part catalog, $6. Probably gonna burn that, not gonna lie. Delco oil filter stuff, probably gonna burn that. 1992 features for passenger car and light truck. Yeah, maybe we'll keep that with the 92. Or maybe we'll just burn it. AC Delco, it's like buying time. Yeah, like that cover is just super cool. Oh, there's some actual kind of neat information in there. Well, we'll throw these in a pile, and if you see something in there, we won't burn them for a couple of weeks. October 1975, passenger car. Even though it says 46 through 69. Oh, it's even got Ford, Dodge, Corvette, all the good stuff in there. Delcotron charging systems. This guy must have worked in a parts store. Ooh, this is vintage. Regulators. Whew. Might have to keep that, might not. I'm guessing that's from the 60s. Maybe that was his name. Stanley W. Gaffney. Fundamentals of Semiconductors. This one will definitely let go. We got a side-by-side, but it is Polaris based, so that can go over there. The old Chiltons from 1980. Got the Mustang on the front, Fox body. What is that, like a Dodge Omni? I don't know, Volare station wagon of sorts. Crossed out somebody's name. Oh yeah, I think it says Gaffney on there as well. 116 of 80. Probably gonna let that go. What we got here? Outboard stuff. 1996 Quicksilver accessories. Definitely burning that. Old outboard motor service manual. We'll maybe keep that. 69 motors manual. Throw that with those. All kinds. This is all for GM carburetors. Mojo is gonna love this. Monojet, dual jet. It's even got throttle body injection, TBI. Dual jet emissions, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick. I mean, Chin might get super excited. Oh my gosh, look at that spider. Look at all this goodness. 1976 454 Quadrabog 78 250 292 with what's that, monojet probably. Man, it is all in here. God, they even got non-GM stuff, marine. Holy, I think we'll hang on to that one because there's a lot of information in there. That's almost like a quarter of a chapter of how women work. And then these are all Corvairs. We're not hanging on to these. There's always somebody that's, was it Steve? Somebody that's into Corvairs that's always commenting, do a Corvair. We're probably never gonna do a Corvair. I'd say that, but more old outboards. Corvair guys, reach out. We'll make you a package deal on all that stuff if we can ship it all in one shot. Napa marine engine parts and burn pile. Mercruiser service bulletins. I'm guessing that's 80 through 84. We'll throw that in the outboard pile. Maybe somebody outboard. Gaffney, Lewis Park, Minnesota. Stanley Gaffney must have been this guy. Seems like a pretty all right dude. Worked on a little bit of everything. Buick Skylark. Yeah, we can part with that. More Corvair manuals. 68 Corvairs. Stanley loved the Corvairs, or look at that, she even gave us the bookends. Motor manual, 28th edition. I'm guessing, oh yeah, 1975 copyright. Probably some good stuff in there. Again, probably would let it go. Children's truck repair manual, look at that. Got the old slab side IH on it. Some IH guy. Gasoline and diesel powered light and medium trucks. We could probably let that one go, but who knows? Oh my gosh. 88 domestic cars, 67 motor manual. Everything you need to know about propellers. We'll throw that in the outboards. Probably not gonna do any boats unless it's got like an inboard. Car Spotters Encyclopedia. Maybe I studied this as a kid and that's how I know so much. I don't know a ton about the LTD2s, so that's sleeper dude stuff. But look at those Magnum 500s on the LTD2 Sports Touring hardtop coupe. Look at this, it's got all the years. 59 Dodge, that is a good front end right there. 61 Dart. Oh, there's a Custom Royale 58 and a 58 and a half. You got these tiny little bars in there in the 58 and a half. Look at these cars. 56 Sierra 4-door wagon, that's a good car. Corvette, yeah, we can pretty much tell all the Chevy full sizes apart. 59, 60, 61. How far does it go back? 48, 40. Last year the headlights that weren't in the fender must be, yeah, well, 40 to 80. That's pretty cool. We'll hang on to that. That's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
It's even got javelins and gremlins. Stan's Auto Repair. Amco, domestic and import, rotors and hardwares. Oh, we should probably just, oh, it's Amco. It's not Amco. Maybe we'll throw this with the brake lathe. Maybe we'll throw it in the burn pile. We definitely got to get rid of these boxes. We cannot have these around the shop. Truck and diesel repair manual. Truck manual. This guy was everything. Outboards, trucks, 1995 parts and time guide. Children's manual 91. What are those things? TSI something or other. Yeah, he's got the little boost caboose notch in the hood. Talon TSI? I think maybe Eagle Talon. I don't know. Oh, there's a good one. 1957 flat rate manual. Encyclopedia of American Cars, 1930 to 1980. Man, he paid $19.95 for this thing. What a deal. 34 Fords. Dang, that's the good stuff right there. Model A's. There's a 32. I was gonna say, you can't forget the 32s. Super rare car. I think that's a, they call it a convertible sedan, but I believe they called them A400s. I could go through this for years. 40 Deluxes. That is a car they never built. Then we get into our shoebox Fords, fat fender Fords. Henry J's, the Vagabond Deluxe. Oh man. All right, we got to carry on. Keeping that one. And then looks like we got some more motor manuals. Chilton import car, definitely can part with that. Mazda Miata. I think that's a terrible version of a Volkswagen Jetta. I'm boring you too, huh? Okay, sorry. Chilton's auto repair manual. Ooh, was that Olds Trofeo? Is that what they were called? The Trofeo. God, they knew how to pick some good cars for these covers. Emission control manual. Definitely don't need that. Parts and time guide, 1985. Probably don't need that. 88 domestic cars service and repair. Probably don't need that either. And the Mitchell, 89. All right, well, yeah. I'm gonna sort these in boxes by what we're keeping, what we're not keeping. So, I wish I had more time because going to garage sales is great. My cousin was just at one a couple weekends ago and he's like, hey, you need to go call this lady. She's got like a Model A Roadster and a Model A Coupe and a 38 Ford or something. And yeah, you never know what you might find. I've gotten a ton of tools at rummage sales. You get like good quality old tools and you get them just absolutely dirt cheap because these people want them gone. And sometimes you pay full retail, but either way you find it. You find the stuff that's not on the shelves of stores. You don't have to pay the eBay prices, the shipping prices. And it's just kind of fun to do. The problem with rummage sailing for me, two things. I'm in the middle of nowhere, so rummage sales don't really exist because there's no people. In order to have rummage sales, you gotta have people, so you gotta go to the big cities. And the other thing is, I'm not into children's clothes and like little old ladies' knickknacks, so you gotta go through a metric crap ton of stuff that should go in a dumpster, according to me, before you find anything that's usable. But hey, you got to what do you say? You gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet. You gotta, I don't know, you gotta strike out a few times before you hit a home run. But rummage sales, good place to find a bunch of stuff you probably don't need. So hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com if you see something in this pile that you really need. Like I said, by the time we get them shipped, they're probably gonna be 30-40 bucks a piece because some of these things are pretty heavy and shipping is insane these days. Speaking of shipping, get your Mortske merch at mortske.com. And if these things are still sitting around after a while, we haven't burned them, maybe we'll do some type of giveaway. But I wouldn't force this on somebody. So never mind, we're not doing a giveaway with books. All right, I'm gonna pack these up and get back on Mickelson's crap box over here. But we need him a bench back. Next on the list, door alignment. I don't really know what to show you guys. There's a door hinge that bolts through the cowl firewall into the door. So if you loosen the bolts on the cowl / firewall, you can adjust the door how it sits this way. So you basically can line up your body line. Is about the only adjustment you can get there. Otherwise, if you shim it, you can move it in and out. But anyway, I don't know what I'm doing here. He just basically wanted to adjust this to the door latch as well, because he had to slam it like 5 times. Boom, first shot. It didn't latch all the way, but there, it latched all the way. So, and then there's a set of bolts right here, and those, so you think of the planes that they're on. The ones on the cowl are on this plane, so you can adjust the door like that. And then, like I said, you can shim it in and out to get these gaps to line up. And then you can also, you know, adjust. There's just so much going on. And then these bolts going this way are on this plane, so you can adjust the door, the bottom of the door in or out, or the top of the door in or out. He just wanted them to shut good. They shut good. And our seal's tight all the way around here, so it shouldn't have any wind noise. It could be a little bit tighter up top here. It's not a very uniform line. It's nice gap, and then it gets tight here, and it's loose back here. So we could loosen the top and dip it back this way. Yeah, and then that would tighten that up. But like I said, with that scabbed in cab corner, and then with this terrible, like it's touching the silly rocker, and it, I don't know, the gaps are terrible. Mind the gap, but shuts good, and it should seal well, so we'll see. I haven't checked the passenger door. The other thing was fix his spare tire that was leaking. I just grabbed a different spare tire. We threw a tube in it. Bada bing, bada boom. shouldn't be any problem with that. We found that this tire was leaking. We said it was. Valve core. Put a new valve core in, which it's got new valve stems, so I don't know. And then we cheaped out when we put valve stems in this thing. We didn't put the long ones that stick through, so you got to take the beauty ring off to pump them up because we're rookies. Yeah, that shuts nice, so that's done. This gap sucks. Like, this needs to be out, or this needs to be in. I think this needs to come out. Yeah, gaps, body stuff, not our forte. It's terrible. I hate messing with that stuff because A, I don't know what I'm doing, and B, I usually just make stuff worse. So I don't know why you asked us to do that. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna throw that spare tire in the back so it's out of our way, and we're gonna mount the transmission cooler. I think I got something fingered out for that, so should be pretty simple, straightforward. I know this has worked for 15 years, Mickelson, but we're gonna do something. And he said this was optional. This was pretty low on the list, but it's pretty high for me. Was coolant overflow one of them that was on there? You know, like maybe a legit tank, you know, a glass Jim Beam bottle. I don't know, whatever. Let's fix that. So what did we figure out for a transmission mount? Well, I figured from the top of the core support to the bottom of the core support, about 20 inches. So conveniently, we had this galvanized piece of angle iron that was 20 inches long. The reason I like angle is because it's got a little bit of rigidity to it instead of just being flat strap. But look at that. Trimmed her out, sits in there good. So we're gonna see if we can't use an existing hole, and maybe there's a threaded existing hole down there, and that'll at least strap this side of it, and then we could probably make something similar for the other side. Don't use white zip ties. They're not UV resistant. They're terrible. They shouldn't even sell them. They should be like food grade stuff or something. So let's get those out of there. And at least trim them off. You know, black would have maybe blended in with the core support. No. White zip ties it is. It's so satisfying cutting somebody else's terrible zip ties off. Oh, quit bashing somebody else's vehicle. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to, you know, show you how to do it. I mean, not even right, just better. Like I said, even Mickelson was like, hey, can you make it better? Oh my gosh. This thing's got a big wooey in it. I think he said he hit a duck or something. I don't even like the way these lines are routed, but it is what it is. For cheese and rice. Okay. Well, here goes nothing. Let's get this bolt out and see if we can't sneak it right in behind that. Set this in place, mark it to drill our 5/16 hole. Right about there. Goodness gracious, I don't know who messes with the drill around here, but they always set it to slow mode. And ain't nobody got time for that. We got things to do.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Always tighten up your drill bit and then run your fingers through all the shards of metal to get them in it. Give her a quick dusting with the old flap disc. Radius them edges so we don't cut ourselves. It's all about the details, kid. This is how you win Riddler Awards. And it's galvanized, so we don't have to paint it. It's never gonna rust. Like you thought we were gonna paint it anyway. I mean, if we had one of them fancy paint can shaker jerk-o-matic like old Puddin's got, then maybe we would.
Get to the chopper!
So now, we just slide that into there. Slip our bolty in. Maybe. Kinda. What's your problem? Oh, there's already a hole in the bottom, so we just gotta somehow reach her down in there and figure out what we're doing and mark that. This is gonna be a total crapshoot, no lie. Can't see. We got reamers, we'll make it oversized if we need to. Then we just gotta mount this guy to it. You know, That's what we should do. Move over to that side. And then our lines are routed much more gooder. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, it doesn't have a hole on that side. Son of a biscuit. Seemed like a good idea. There's already a threaded hole down in the bottom of the core support on this side. I don't know what it was for. We would have to drill, oh yeah, and then it's boxed in. So like you'd have to drill all the way through and sleeve it, and yeah, let's not do that. We'll make this work. Good enough for the girls we go with anyway. I'm gonna drill this out. Not a chance I drill that in the right spot, so be prepared to ream that out to like 5/8 of an inch. Let's see how she fits. Yeah, of course that bolt ain't gonna go in. Definitely gonna be reaming that out. All of the adjustability. I like it. It's relatively unnoticeable. Fits pretty well. Now let's attach this to it. It's already going to be, I mean, even if we put some self-tappers in there, it's going to be better than the old zip tie that we had going on before. Like, oh, he's got the screws in upside down in his clamp in action. Come on, Mickelson. You know, at least if you're going to use a clamp-on battery cable end, at least put the bolts going through that way and the nuts on the bottom. You know, you're gonna catch your elbow on that. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Mark where we got to drill it. And I don't like the way those hoses route. We got one halfway marked, so we can slide it up here, line that mark up, and then mark the other. Because I can't really get my marker behind the grill. We're not taking the grill out for what we're doing here. We're just half-assing it, like we always do. So there's our mark. So we line that up. Get everything square with the world. We'll drill those out. I think we'll put like some 1/4-inch bolts in there and some whiz nuts. And bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. We're gonna stick some bolts in it. See what happens. Look at this. We got our crooked old Hayden transmission cooler mounted. Pretty dang solid. I just took a 3-inch by 9-inch piece of sheet metal there and sheet metal screwed it to the firewall or the radiator support because you can't get at the back side because it's not a blind hole. So we're gonna put some nutserts in there and then put some 1/4-inch screws. Speaking of 1/4-inch screws, I use 1/4-inch button head screws because I like the way that Allen bolts look. Button head Allen bolts, I should say. And then on this one, we use, well, both of these, we use serrated 1/4-inch nuts. I like those serrated nuts because you don't have to have a wrench to hold them and they don't vibrate loose. So, got our routing real nice so nothing should rub there. Should make her down to Florida. No problemo. All right, and I trimmed off a couple of zip ties when I was down there because you know how much I hate zip tie pigtails. We should probably look at these. These are wires for his headlights, these LEDs, something or other. And they can rub on metal there. And this one over here is just pretty taut. So maybe we can fish that through another way, but it wasn't on the list. So let's keep moving down the list. Let's see what we got next. A couple other things that he had on the list was the gas tank. This thing droops way down. I call it the soggy bottom boys or the saggy diaper. She's hanging way down. We gotta put her on the lift to look at that. He said there's room to go up, but you gotta modify the bumper, and the bumper is part of his hitch. And then the other thing that he's worried about is pulling a trailer, 6,000 pound trailer down to Florida. As you can see, Mojo's got our Hooter hauler, the Hooterite electrician pickup. We got that thing running great. Let me show you what we did. We put exhaust on it. We had a extended cab long box that I took the engine out to put in my dad's Buick. Check that video out if you haven't. And that pickup, we saved the exhaust of it. So this is a regular cab long box, and it had like 3-inch exhaust. That pickup had 2.5. So we took like 12 inches, 14 inches out of the exhaust, had boom tube flare it, slid it together, bolted right on there. So it's nice and quiet. And then we had a misfire. Figured out what that was. I'll show you that. Like I said, this thing is just short tripping, basically around the colony. And the plugs on the left bank, I don't even know how they were firing. Just terrible. The right bank was better, but new set of plugs, new set of wires, tip-top shape. Now we finally got a leak in the radiator, so we're gonna take one out of the parts pickup or see if we can fix this one and go from there. Conveniently, there was coolant in the toolbox, so they must have been using this thing or knew it was using coolant or leaking coolant before we got it. And the upper control arm bushings are wasted on this side, so we got to get some new bushings and a ball joint. CV axle on that side's shot, and the shock is just not doing shock things. But look at this. What do we got? Blended Scotch whiskey, little maker's mark back here. So apparently the old electrician liked to take a few pulls. But yeah, it's a pretty good rig. Oh yeah, we got the old exhaust here. You can see there wasn't much fixing that. I think part of it was that ginormous tip that they had on the end. Just the tip will get you sometimes. Don't ask me how I know. Oh yeah, and then this was rubbing on the drive shaft. So exhaust is way good. It's basically all stock stuff, and short of the $20 expansion that Boom Tube did, we're into it pretty cheap. Oh, and I did put new gaskets coming off the manifolds. But, so we can't put that on the hoist to check out the fuel tank and the tow hitch. So the other thing on the list was de-Mickelsoning under the hood. So let's see if we can do something different here with the catch can. Maybe clean up this wiring a little bit. Do something here. Yeah, the funny part is he's an electrical quality technician. This stud is way too long. This seal is just hanging on by hopes and dreams. So let's fix a few things. Well, the plot thickens on the old Hooter hauler here. The radiator was leaking. So look what we had. A brand new one from an 08 that Todd Vanderhayden sent. He's been asking us to use this for a while, and of course it doesn't just fit in anything. I was kind of excited to put it in the old Trans Marrow Bird because it's got that port for the steam port, but we're going to use it in this thing because it's essentially the exact same radiator, but it must be for a 1/2 ton, so it doesn't have the old oil cooler hoses. So we found a block off plate for 6 liter. We're blocking that off. Yeah, this is going to be real nice right uptown. She was leaking, and this is where they usually leak, is on the there's a gasket in here. And this aluminum pinches under these plastic tanks, you know, because we can't have good old copper and brass radiators anymore. So shout out to Mr. Vanderhayden. Thanks for the radiator. I'm glad we could finally use it. And this one can get turned into beer cans again. Also, Mickelson was here, said door latch is good. Said the brakes are better, but they're not perfect. He said real good job on the transmission cooler. So we're going to continue to do a little cleaning underneath the hood here. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, half-ton topper, clearly a Minnesotan. Tiller, arms up in the air, yeah. All the safe procedures, right, Walt?
Not advised.
No comment. On a positive note, I think I found out why we don't have power brakes, or that we don't have power brakes. So, took his Chinesium adapter for the brake booster off and put a different one on there, thinking, you know, these got a check valve in them. Your worthless information of the day. Watch this, it's hooked up, so there should be no vacuum leak. So when I unplug it, it should run different. It doesn't run different, but guess what, when I plug it, I think we got a bad booster, and his Chinese booster that he had before was either bad as well, or just wasn't doing his job, so I think we can fix it. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I mean, I did think of it, being all a Tiffany. We need a Tiffany logo. There you go. Thought I had a booster laying around. I don't have one just laying around, so we gotta go rob one off a vehicle. I think we're gonna get one from that Suburban that's been so gracious to us from the old tow pig here, Cowboy Cadillac, which blew an airline tonight, so need to fix that, but I've been using her quite a bit. Duff really appreciates the AC on days like this. But anyway, that's Suburban from 7th Avenue Auto Salvage. Shout out to those guys for giving the gift that keeps on giving. That was also the one that was buried in snow this winter. I think that's got a brake booster on it. So I'm gonna take this one off so I know what tools I need. Your tech tip of the day. Take one off and then use those same tools to go get the other one, instead of going back and forth 19 times. Because that's no fun when it's 20 below zero or when it's 95 degrees out and 89% humidity. It is disgusting. And we got biting flies today, don't we, Duff? Actually, they've been here a couple weeks, but ooh, I didn't even notice. Freaking red distributor cap and a Scotch lock on the tack signal, I presume. All right, let's take a booster off. You are just dog tired today, H-Pal. Me too. So getting this booster off is pretty dang easy out here. The fun stuff comes down below. We get the pin out of the rod linkage, and it seems like they're always different. So, and you're laying on your back. I was just at the chiropractor this week because my back was screwed up from laying underneath that dash. So I'm not a Sally like old pudding. Oh, I need the testosterone pill. They put them in my butt and then they make me feel like a man. But anyway, we're gonna get that unhooked. I'm probably not gonna show much of that because I'm gonna be laying upside down. I'm not gonna put a light up there and put you guys up there and put you through that misery as well, as much as you guys and gals enjoy me being miserable. So that's the pain part. Usually there's like some type of safety clip or there's a cotter key or something. So it usually requires a really long needle nose pliers and a pick and a light, and half the time the pin or the bushings wore, so it's a pain to get out of there. They're no fun. So we'll get that out of there. I'll show you what I did once we get out of there. And then we'll take all those tools over to the Suburban and hope that's the same, because, oh yeah, that's a square body and this is a 67 to 72, but it should be close. GM things. Phew, that wasn't bad. Oh, we got her out of there, and while we were under there, we popped the old Jesus clip out of the clutch rod. So now hopefully we can get the clutch to stick to the floor. Well, I was thinking that. Usually there's a spring, when you over center it and push it, it'll stick to the floor. If you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. But this one doesn't do that. There's a spring on it, but it won't let it stick to the floor. So that clutch pedal just hanging there bothers crap out of me. Every time I get in there, I want to mash it to the floor to get the clutch switch to engage the starter. So here's what you got to do, apparently, to put I couldn't remember what we did, to put a square body booster in a 6772. That's why we had to run it upside down, because this bolt hole is offset. So we probably could have flipped it the other way and then just made a spacer, and then we had to cut this one edge of the booster bracket out for something, I don't know. Oh yeah, the clutch rod would come through and you could see where it marked up his headers. Yay, headers. And I could see where he torched his frame for his headers. We should plug this hole for the clutch rod. Wonder if I got one of them covers from the factory. I think they just got a cover that's screwed to the firewall. Otherwise we might have to make one. Get out the old English wheel and make a nice one. But and then the other thing we did, so we had to notch out these holes, put it upside down. Oh, like I said, you'd see how we kind of reamed them out. It's not the ugliest thing ever. It'll be fine. And then we must either had to shorten or lengthen the push rod. So this push rod is now kind of part of the assembly, but I think we had it made it so it's threaded in. So if I hold here and hold here, so I made it serviceable. Yay me. And then it looks like we made a bushing there, and then it's just a 3/8 fine thread bolt. But the lock nut really wasn't locking anymore, and it wasn't quite long enough. So we got ourselves a nylock and a new 3/8 bolt. And you always want to, when you got a nylock like this, have a couple threads sticking past. Yeah, Puddin's like, Mortske and his nylocks. Yeah, well, if you lose this bolt, especially when you got an automatic transmission, you're going to go for a ride, because pretty sure when you mash the brake to the floor, the vehicle just accelerates. Anybody who's also experienced a pedal to floor experience, it's disheartening to say the least. But so anyway, yeah, use the right hardware. Steering, brakes, always make good decisions, kids. And then, yeah, like we sleeved this and welded it up good. I don't know that I welded that, but I mean, it ain't terrible. We'll say Mickelson did it, but I probably did it. All right, let's unthread this. Hopefully it unthreads. I'm sure it does. And then, yeah. So I think this pretty much works same for the 60 to 66s. I had power brakes on a 60 Chevy short bed, two-tone fleet side. We called it Leroy. Well, apparently it wasn't even tight. So there is some adjustability there. Like I said, this is, I think, how the stock square body was, and then there's just an eyelet on it, about like so. I don't know if we lengthen this or shorten this. Anyway, we'll go get the one off that Suburban. Hopefully it goes as smooth as this one did. And I'll show you what the difference is. Well, here we are back in Skid Row, the old Suburban, the gift that keeps on giving. The steering column's already out because we use that in the dually, so it's really easy to get at the pedal, and it's just a clip or a pin clip. So I'm gonna pop that out. And then, yeah, it's really easy out front. Tech tip of the day, don't park your junk in Skid Row so close that you can't open the door anymore. Yeah, gosh dang it. And cripes, you drag one Jaguar home and everybody gets all excited about it. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
All right. No more Austin Powers impersonations. What's under there? All the goodness. Oh, yeah, and somebody was looking for some lug nuts, the caps, the covers. I think I sold him, I don't remember what vehicle he bought. But anyway, he's like, hey, if I buy a t-shirt and some stickers and stuff, would you throw those lug nuts in? I'm like, absolutely. You're already buying stuff from us, supporting the channel, so I don't need lug nuts. Plus we may or may not have picked up another two-wheel drive donor pickup. And no, we're not going to get this thing going. No, you're not going to buy it and drive it across the country. Somebody asked if they could take it on power tour. I'm like, I don't have a title. We don't have keys. No, it's just going to sit here. Sunshine's going to rot into the ground. I tried calling the dealership and saying, hey, if I got a VIN number, can you cut me a key? And they're like, not without proof of ownership. So I guess, yeah, it's definitely not stolen. The guy passed away, didn't have any family. Long story short, it kind of came with the land, and it was part of the land, and somebody else died. Anyway, Sunshine is dead too. All right, let's get a booster off. Pays to have all kinds of OBSs and square bodies and Jaguars out back for parts sometimes. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Ow! Son of a... I need to get some 67 to 72s laying out back for parts. All we got is the ramp truck. I'm not taking that thing apart. Maybe one day we'll get it together and using it. Because what we need is another tow pig around the yard here. I am pretty excited about the old rollback though. It's gonna be so good. Hopefully we can get the AC working, because it's real good in the old cowboy Cadillac. Oh man. Oh man. You got all this undercoating on the body. Makes it a real treat to get the brake booster off. Plus they got all these silly vacuum lines for the wipers. Let's see how many times I can twist my knuckles in one evening. Let's pull this clip out here before it gets too dark and we can't see what we're doing. There's the old clip that holds it. And then there's a washer on the side. Once we unbolt it from the firewall, it should slide right off. We didn't need that. I bet the last one I took off didn't have an engine in it. Oh, the one that Mickelson took, the one that didn't work didn't have an engine in it. I don't think it didn't even have a front end in it, so it probably just stood in the engine bay. There we go. Let's walk around here. Okay, or not. Who's your daddy? We just gotta thread that rod off, thread ours on it. Hopefully this booster is good. If it's not, Mickelson's just driving to Florida with manual brakes. Always put your nuts back where you found them. Except the ones that you drop on the ground. We've planted a few nuts over the years. Like a squirrel, basically. Would you look at that? Just look at it.
Look at this, yeah, you gotta look at it, yeah. Look at this, yeah, right, because he had to look at it first.
Found all three of them. Like, really? Who at GM thought they needed 6 M8 bolts holding the brake booster on? It's kind of like the pudding things. If 2 wouldn't hold it, 6 never would have. Or whatever it is that kooky Oklahoman says. All right, golf cart loaded. Ready to go back to the shop. Oh yeah, always close the hood when you're done, but don't latch it all the way so you don't have to go pull the prop rod. Close the doors for cripe's sakes when you're done. You born in a barn? Well, you probably, what have you been doing? Have you been eating dirt? Let me see your tongue. You are a goof. You're a dirty dog. Who's a dirty dog? We'll go for a ride in the golf cart. Talk about handier than a shirt with pockets. This golf cart is something else. Doesn't have AC though. Duff sure appreciates it though. All right, you driving? Did you clean your tongue off a little bit? Good work. And look at all the freaking cup holders this thing's got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a hole up. Wait, there's more. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I mean, these work too. So let's just call it 11. This is better than any Town and Country Chrysler ever put together, eh, Duff? Okay. We got our locking pliers clamped on here. We got a 7/16 wrench. We're going to thread that off. These hole spacings on the blue bomb here are 2 and 9/16, and these are like 2 1/4. So there's the center mark for my hole needs to be. So that's why we just reamed them out, because you can't drill another full size 25/64 hole. So we'll have to work that out. And then we got to take, well, from here to here is 4 inches. So measured, we got to cut that off because apparently it gets into the Das Boot that holds Das steering column. We'll trim that up and slammer on there. It'd be really cool if you could just like unbolt this. I think on the actual 67 to 72s you can unbolt these, but or maybe that's the aftermarket designs I'm thinking of. All right, let's get this thing modified. Hey, it came undone. Woohoo! I'm gonna throw this in our stash of parts to be used later. So yeah, it looks like we just took the exact same thing and we just sleeved it and lengthened it out. How neat is that?
How neat is that?
Oh yeah, and then this was like for a 1/2 inch pin, and these are 3/8, so we just made a bushing. Easy peasy. Sure enough, finally resolved our brake issue. It was the booster, so now we can go ahead and put his master cylinder and his proportioning valve back on it, see how it goes from there. Because I want my new one back, so we can put it on the transmittal board or back on the shelf or whatever. Let's continue on. I did notice there was a leak coming from the transmission cooler line. Snugged that up, so hopefully that resolves that leak. But if not, we'll be looking for a transmission cooler. Hopefully we can find another Hayden that just bolts right in. Speaking of leaks, we got one coming from the cooling system somewhere. I'm guessing it's this guy right here, seeing as how it doesn't have any pipe dope on it. So let's take that loose, put some dope on it, and hopefully seal that back up. Temp sender, I'm guessing. Let's unplug it before we twist those wires in a circle. I know it's supposed to be sealant that comes on these threads, and plus it's a brass plug, but I like to use a little pipe dope. It also could be the thermostat housing, the radiator hose, this plug, or this bypass hose for the water pump. I don't know. But this one looks like the culprit, hopefully. We'll clean it up with some brake cleaner, see if that fixes it. There's definitely coolant there, as you could assume. And get her freshly doped up. Please don't break the intake. Yeah, that would be my luck. Be a good time to put an aftermarket aluminum intake on it though, huh? Get rid of that smogger. All right, now let's take some brake cleaner and clean that all up, wipe her down, and hopefully it never leaks again. But at least if it's clean, we'll know if it's residual or not. All right, let's clean up our parts table. So let's put Mickelson's used master cylinder back on there, and then I can put mine back away, and of course they're all used now too, because the new ones no longer new anymore. Hey Duff? Mainly I just want to get rid of those silly couplers on there and put them back in my drawer, because those things are like $8 a freaking piece last time I checked. It's cheaper to buy a proportioning valve probably, right? Oh yeah, it rained finally, so somebody found some mud. And then he rolled in a live snake. Who does that? You know, I can see rolling in a dead one, but the snake was still alive. You got a thing for snakes now, or what, that we didn't know about? Yeah. You silly boy. Taking a break here. The beauty of having all this real estate is your buddies store their boats and trailers here, and he wants to go back to Wisconsin with one trip, so we're going to try to put a bass tracker on a trailer. Ooh, his tailpipe's real bad. You know your tailpipe's held on by hopes and dreams, right? Yep. Okay. Just making sure. It's state law, right? In Wisconsin? Yeah, you gotta cut her real hard. There you go. Crank it as far to the left as you can. And then come back about 6 inches. Oh! I'll let you make the critical connections. I don't get paid enough for that. Now the fun part, figuring how we're gonna get said bass tracker on there. We were gonna lift it with a telehandler, but we're second guessing it. Duff's gonna go look for some mud. We're just a big kid here, so we're gonna use tow mater Bernie over here to winch her on there. I figured with the winch up top, it'll be pulling the tongue up instead of digging it into the bed. Good idea? Bad idea? Let us know. Comment down below. Oh yeah, way easier than the telehandler. Like we knew what we were doing, huh?
Yes, it was.
All right, time to tie it down. Well, good luck. See you later. The bass tracker's loaded up. He's got to tie her down and head to Wisconsin. I got to get my ears lowered, my old double D. So we'll see. Oh, we're getting some new seats in the Hooter hauler and a radio that maybe has buttons and such. Right, Duff? Oh, and fix the door handle. All kinds of good stuff. Brakes are back together, same as it was before, other than the new booster. So just got to bleed them up and should be good to go there. I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do next. So the brakes are so good on this thing. Steering is so bad. Steering wheel is so bad. I think we're gonna get the power steering working. It's got a factory power steering sector on it. It had power steering on it when he had the small block in it. Since he put the big block in it, he could never find the brackets, so on and so forth. So we're gonna see if we can't resolve that. I got a lot of power steering stuff around, but factory short water pump big block stuff is hard to find. I did part out a 72 years ago, and I thought I had all the stuff. I'd given some of the stuff to Mickelson. Long story short, the reservoir on these is like mounted. It's a remote mount reservoir on these big blocks. I think even some of the later ones are like what came in that pickup. But we're gonna see if we can't make it work. And it looks like he bought something off eBay, or I don't know. Come with some terrible white zip ties and a factory GM hose. We're just gonna see if we can make something work, because no power steering is no bueno. And this engine's out of an 85, so it should have been a long water pump. He put a short water pump on it, and to make that work, he got short aftermarket aluminum pulleys, and then he got short aftermarket brackets for the alternator. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull all that off, and then try to get a pump on there, and our pulleys lined up, and see what we can do. Yeah, no fun. That is one thing that GM kind of botched. His Chevelle power steering stuff for a big block is different than a Nova, is different than a Camaro, is different than a pickup, and then you get in the long water pump, and of course you add in headers and a lot of the mounts for alternators and stuff like that, and power steering pumps came off of the manifolds. Then you go to headers, and just a mishmash of terribleness, and it's not fun. So I don't know how many totes. I think we cleaned up like 3 totes of power steering pumps yesterday. We got another one here. There's another one in the back of the old Ranger, 2 more in the back of the Ranger. So I got like 6 totes full of power steering pumps, and you can never make them work. Like this is a long power steering pump for a small block, which is different than a big block, which is different from short, which is different from year to make to model to which manifolds it had, so on and so forth. But this is some pretty nice stuff. And he's got the bracket bolted to the block. But I can't figure how this goes. We might have to make some spacers. And there was some destructions in here, so this is like a newish reman from somebody. I don't know. But it's got 3 ports, so you got pressure and return, and it's got a port for like hydro boost. So I don't know how that's gonna work. So we might have to steal a housing off this one or put a cap on it. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully we can get it working. It's gonna be a ton of time, gonna be not much content, but it'll make Mickelson's life so much easier. Got some bad news on the power steering pump front. There ain't no way. So here's our obstacles. We got electric fans, which I don't like, but even if we converted to a mechanical fan, they're just, I don't know how the belt's gonna clear for the alternator. Plus it's gonna be in the way of the pulley. Plus we got that extra hose to contend with, and we still don't have a way to adjust the belt. This bracket won't even fit on the pump, either pump that I have, and there's no way to attach it to here. So I mean, we could spend an entire Saturday making this thing work or more. So it wasn't even on his list, I just wanted it. So we're just gonna abandon hope there and keep moving on. So I'm gonna strip all this stuff off, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, since we gave up on the power steering, we went back to the brake, swapped everything over, and then the brake light would come on when he pushed it all the way down. Bled it all out, nothing. Turns out it was a bad master that was Mickelson's. Could given me bad parts. So we put the Transmero Bird new unit back on there. Brakes work great. And then In my stash, I found a clutch pedal block-off plate, so we installed that. What else is going on down here? Oh, this thing's got fresh floor pans 15 years ago. And look at those bolts to hold the gas pedal there. That's nice. What's with the green torque converter? Does that mean it's real fast? We got all the stall. Headers. Just some more zip ties that aren't trimmed off. Who made these transcooler lines? You got connections somewhere that make hydraulic lines? eBay. Parker even. We could probably take this clutch pedal return spring off. Did you want this giant twist in the brake hose, or does it only do that when it's jacked up in the air? Kind of looks like a cute little piggy tail. All right. What else we got going on here? Oh, when we were bleeding brakes, I noticed his airbag kit. Oh, park brake? I know what we can do with those. More zip ties hanging there. But yeah, I guess he put this little airbag kit on here. Firestone, but apparently we didn't remember to snug that up. And here's the fuel tank situation. The droopy diaper here. I don't know why it's sitting down so low, but it has something to do with that because it has to clearance for that. I don't know. We might see what we can do. Oh, that's the retainers. Yeah, that's some quality work there. And how do you tighten that nut up with the strap turned around backwards? Oh, it's grounded. I gotcha. This is some quality craftsmanship there. Boom tube did an amazing exhaust job, per usual. Airbags leak, per usual. We just got done fixing them on that. How fun was that, Dickie?
Too much fun.
Oh, we got some new floor mats too. Look at these floor mats from Motor Trend. This is what we got in the, not a paid sponsor, we got in Bernie too. They're so good that you have to team lift these floor mats. Super heavy duty, but they're way better than these things. You know what? Tell you what, if you buy a t-shirt this upcoming week, what's coming up? What date? What's the date on Monday? The date's listed below. Chin will list the dates below. If you buy a t-shirt from mortske.com, we'll put you in the drawing to get yourself a nice set of red floor mats. Well, I'll probably even sign them. Remind me to sign them. They're Dickie. But look at how much better these things are. Somebody's gonna be so proud to own these things. They're amazing. Or you can buy your own on Amazon. Or you can send us a note when you order your t-shirt and say, hey, I don't want to be put in the drawing, but look at these ones. Way better, even though they say Motor Trend on them. No more bag leak. Fix that. Oh yeah, it's going for an alignment on Monday. I had to flip the tires inside out because after about 320 miles, we got cords showing. Not good. Had a whole lot of toe-in going on the old cowboy Cadillac, but we're getting her fixed up right. Oh yeah, and look at this receiver hitch. Bang! We raised her way up from there to there. It's kind of ugly, but it's super heavy duty, and it's all bolt in so we can take it out. Yeah, it's gonna be way more gooder, and plus it's gonna move the ball out here further because before it was kind of kinking the wire and it was getting close to jackknifing, but I don't know. I think it'll be all right. Mickelson thinks we need to put a block-off plate in there so that we can do things, but I think we should just run the exhaust through there.
Don't show the people.
Oh my gosh. That's just held in by hopes and dreams.
Don't show the people.
But that makes sense though. Like when you back up to the curb at work and the curb hits it, it's just free to move around.
It was a 24-gallon tank.
Freedom!
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
I was gonna say brake leak, but that was for me bleeding brakes. Yeah. Nothing to see under here. We could maybe trim that off. Or are you gonna hook those up?
No.
No. Absolutely not. Extra exhaust hangers. If we got rid of all this excess stuff, we could probably pick up several miles a gallon. No. No. Did you zip tie the brake hose?
No, you did.
I did not.
Yeah.
I absolutely would not zip tie a brake hose to anything.
I promise you did that.
That is gonna.
Oh, wait. Boom tube, because it was hitting the exhaust.
Can't have that. Sorry, boom tube. Bad idea. Don't.
You're right.
Don't blame that on me.
It wasn't you. That was boom tube. That's
Boom
right.
tube. That's a no-no.
I promise. It wasn't me.
We're gonna have to do something there. Ugh.
Oh, look how well lubricated it is up here. Yeah, that's not gonna rust.
Is that a fresh 4L80E?
No.
That's just a junkyard 4L80E.
Yeah,
Didn't you have a spare lane out back?
No.
We just got some more park brake stuff hanging on the exhaust. Header leaks. He's trying to blame it on boom tube, but I'm pretty sure the collector gasket was not boom tube's fault.
I thought this was a leak, but I am wrong. That is just discoloration. That is what a leak looks like.
That's a leak, not a leak. Oh, yeah. Alrighty. Well, you go tighten your bolt up back there, and we'll cut some park brake cables off. I'll take a spring off. Also, we got to tie up the breather tube for the rear end that's just hanging here, and we got to put a breather in the end of it. I feel like I would have put a breather in it because I'm kind of anal retentive about that, but maybe not. Here we go, tag teaming it. How excited are you? Look at this.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, I did that.
So I think this is spare parts. You know, there's a filter and an inline pump. But look at this. What are these three amigos doing here? Why is there 3 hose clamps just hanging out right there? Oh, what is this? Is this aircraft quality wiring over here? What's going on? More park brake stuff.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask you? You can't blame that on boom tube.
I know. YouTube would have done that.
There's a slight driveline vibration. Oh, found it. Your universal joints are out of phase. It vibrates when you ham on it. And he's like, I wasn't even worried about that. Just fix the door latch. Yeah, see how this thing is like almost vertical and this one's like, hee-hoo.
Huh. I didn't even know that was, you just edumacated me.
Edumacation is key.
Huh.
All right, so let's take a drive line out and put that in phase and get rid of the vibration. I bet that fixes it. Psh. All right, so all we did is there's a slip yoke here, slid it off the splines, lined it up with that. I'm guessing when we put a different universal joint in it, to put the bastard joint in it, when we put the half-ton rear end versus a 3/4 ton rear end, somebody may have not lined up the knuckles. So you got to have them in phase, so they can be 90 degrees off, but you can't have them in between. You can't have them a couple splines off. So you got her close. Did that vibration maybe show up after you swapped rear ends?
Probably.
I never even noticed it. It was fine. Okay, let's bolt her all back together. So as I was saying, the breather, with the expansion and contraction of the heat in the differential, it's gotta breathe. If you don't have a breather, or the breather gets plugged up, you can tell it's plugged up because you can wiggle the breather. Gets plugged up, blows out your pinion seal or your axle seals. And if you're a big 4-wheel drive mud truck guy and you don't have a breather on there, it fills your diff full of water and then it gets rusty and then it takes out the bearings and then you got garbage. Does that make sense? Tech tip of the day, check your breather, make sure it's present, make sure the hose isn't rotted off, that it's hooked up, and then also make sure that you can spin it and then it's free and it's not full of dirt and debris and crack cocaine. You don't want to crack cocaine in your rear end.
You don't want your differential to party.
The old 308 two-wheel peel. She likes to party. God dang it, why do you get the two-wheel peel? You suck. Okay, carry on.
I can't wait to not drive on gravel roads anymore.
They don't have gravel roads in Florida-Georgia line? Do you love those guys? Is that why you're moving there?
Yeah, my favorite. Dickie's favorite.
Dickie's favorite, FGL. Yeah, Florida-Georgia line. All right. Where's this mystery bolt at that's can't have a nut on it, but you left it in there somehow anyway?
Over here.
Give it the old reach around. Get in there real nice and deep like Dickie.
That's it, boy. Get in there nice and deep like.
Hold your tongue just like that. I like what you do with your eye socket. Mmm. Put some spit on it.
You won't be long now.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So if we get a longer one, we can put a nut on it?
I'm not gonna guarantee anything. But yes. There's the hole.
Put some hair on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that could happen.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Oh, there it is. It's not even the rust, it's just where it lines up with everything else.
Oh, this will be fun.
This is gonna be YouTube gold right here. Son of a... So the problem is, the frame is delaminating. So we're gonna laminate it back together with our frame laminating machine. Minnesota things. I don't know if that helped or not. I mean, it's really not a Mortske project until you get the reamer out. Might have to take the wheel off. So the problem is, there's a cross member here, and it's not really delaminating, it's where somebody drilled the hole. Is right on the cross member. So we're just gonna make the hole bigger. Relocate the center of the hole. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a bolt on it though, because I feel like 2 bolts on an airbag bracket is not enough. I mean, there's 4 holes, but 3 is gonna do. The kit said 3 holes, huh? Okay. I bet the bolt goes through easier now.
Wow, look at that.
Would you look at it?
Would you look at that? You got under? Yeah, look at that.
Hot. It's being hot on the inside. I don't know, but it's tight. It's better than it was. What's the other side look like?
There's 3.
There's 3? And does it have a nut on the back side?
And they're all tight.
Okay. Check that one off. Well, now let's reassess the fuel tank scenario. What are you thinking about the fuel tank?
It's fine.
It's fine? Okay.
It's not fine.
Should we put a ratchet strap from right to left, you know? Do you know the problem with the Ford Pintos? Don't let anybody cornhole you. That works in many places in life, Dickie.
Shucks. If only I had known that.
I wish we had a video. Remember taking these stupid helper springs off? How much of a pain those things were? All right, we're gonna have a sandwich and discuss what we're gonna do with the fuel tank. Because I think something should be done. It looks so terrible hanging that low. And she's looks like she was beat with a bag of nickels. A lot of gravel. So Mickelson and I Had a few sandwiches last night. We got a game plan to eliminate the old soggy bottom boys back here. So let's take a look at what we got to do. So this tank hangs down about 3 inches due to this 3-inch C-channel. And look at this product placement. Get yourself a Mortske magnetic can koozie. Yeah, that's a full can of sandwich right there. Magnetic, freaking handier than shirt with pockets. Stay there. And yeah, get some other good quality merch. We got pens, we got air fresheners, we got screwdrivers, we got super scrapers, you name it, we got it. And we got to get rid of this. It was the overload spring bracket. We got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of his brackets that he put in there for the C-channel. We got to get rid of the C-channel. And then we're going to notch out this bracket right here, and then we're going to move everything up. We got to modify his bumper for the license plate protector and all that hot garbage. And then we're going to have to make some new ways to hang it, but we'll figure it out. First thing is we got to get this tank down, and maybe we'll clean up his wiring and his plumbing and all that good stuff in the process. So I'm going to drop that down and get it out of the way, because we're probably going to need the torch and we're going to need the death wheel and all that. So take the transfusion jack, run her up, and get this thing out of the way. Are you going to be of any assistance, good sir? He just wants to run around outside, but the problem is it's raining. We definitely need it though. I think we got about 1 inch today already. Yeah, who's a good boy? Who's a wet, stinky dog? Duff is. All right, tank is out of there. Now we got to get rid of this ugly 1x1 square tubing and this super ugly, what was it, 1x3 rectangular tubing. Pretty straightforward. I'm guessing this was for his gas gauge. We could probably put a better eyelet on there. This is, I'm guessing, the power wire for the pump. It's pretty small gauge wire, but must be working. That might be 14 gauge, but I'm thinking it's 16. Pressure and return. Oops. Hopefully I can figure out which is which. Probably should have marked them. And then there was a ground that he had the tank grounded. And then there was a ground that went here, and that must have been for the pump. This tank, if anybody's looking to do this, he said it's out of like a 64 GTO, but I'm guessing 64 to 67, or maybe even 64 all the way up to 72 will fit. It's from Tanks. They make some pretty good quality stuff, but works with your stock gauge. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Oh, so he's got a butt splice there, a butt splice there, 14 gauge wire with a yellow eyelet on it, and the eyelet was way too large for the wire and way too large for the bolt. So maybe we can clean that up a bit. You can see all the rocks been shooting up there, but this side's pressure, and this side's return, and then he's got apparently a vent there, an event there. I think there's a rollover valve in there or something, but she's seen a lot of gravel. She's got some hail damage in there. No a few gals like that, don't we, Duff? All right, I'm gonna start taking all that good stuff out of there, bad stuff out of there, and make it good. And we'll get her ready to slide back up there and refit it again. We're gonna have to figure out somewhere for the mounting brackets. What were the old ones? Oh, they went through there, so we should be good back here. And then here's where they were before, so maybe we can leave this and utilize that. Otherwise, we'll have to put something up there, but these got to go for sure. And then this might as well go because it's just holding that, and then those bolts are going to get in the way, but that rivet's not doing anything, so we can get rid of that. And we'll have to make something for it to ride against, kind of like this was, to hold it on the top so that it doesn't rub through any sharp ledges or whatever. Ledges, edges. Hopefully our fuel dries up before we light our feet on fire. We don't want to do that. Steel toes don't prevent you from burning to death. Okay, let's get to cleaning. Oh my gosh, look at those hole drilling capabilities. You know, on this side, somebody put a 1/2 inch hole for a 5/16 bolt, which is fine. On that side, I don't know if they had a beaver with one tooth chew that out of there or what. This side, they did pretty good. This side, not so bueno. Running a tape measure is hard, I know. How about this side? Whew. Same deal. Swing and a miss. We're only on one side. Nailed it on that side. Now we gotta get rid of these hideous overload brackets that we should have got rid of when we swapped the suspension, but we didn't. What are the odds they come out of there? This pickup was so rusty. This bolt was not fun. Of course, the head of the bolt's so rusty I can't get a 3/4 wrench on it. 11/16 doesn't fit on it even. $18mm maybe? 18mm it is. Definitely not a metric bolt. Got it. An 11/16 nut on a 3/4 bolt. GM did some weird stuff with these overload springs. If you're not familiar with the 67 to 72 Chevy pickups, most of them, two-wheel drive anyway, had coil springs with this trailing arm or truck arm suspension, if you will. You could get an option for overload springs, and the overload springs are what I call a quarter elliptical. It's basically half of a leaf spring, clamps to the frame, the other half would sit on a pad back here, and if you got enough weight on it, overloaded it, that tab would hit the leaf spring, and then those springs would assist the coil spring. It was an option. Like I said, it was only on, well, you could get an overload spring and a regular leaf spring. Same deal. You got this spring just sitting there that's never used, and then you got a couple spring pads that once you get it overloaded, it hits them, and then those springs come into action. But on these, it's just a half a spring that hung back here, and that touched about where his airbag bracket was. And then as you got enough load on the coil spring, that leaf spring would hit. They probably worked all right, but I always take them off because they're in the way. When you lower them, it hits on them, then you're riding on them. What the French? Are you kidding me? Round it off or what? Ah, cripes. Hate dealing with rusty junk. Maybe we'll just let it down and cut all those heads off of the bolts with the torch. We got the torch here. We may as well use it. I'll show you what I'm dealing with. Here's the bolt that would retain that quarter elliptical spring. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4. That bolt's put in the other way. Bolts that are holding this bracket, plus the 2 1/2-inch bolts that came through the bottom. And yeah, the head is rusty on that one, so it's spinning, and yeah, it just ain't gonna go well. So let's get the torch out, shmoo them off there, carry on with our lives. Maybe get rid of this exhaust bracket that's no longer being used. Maybe fix this wire that's exposed. That's probably just for the license plate light that don't work anyway. Okay, we're getting the torch out. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side because that went so well. Well, we got the torch hot. Let's get rid of a couple of rivet heads too. Yeah, we got rid of a few bogus exhaust hangers. Now there's this giant 1/2-inch plate up here. It was for this thing at a toe. Oh man, we missed a frickin' exhaust hanger. Oh boy, that one's real nice. Ray Charles welded together. But yeah, this plate here with these nuts welded on it. You can see the hole up there. That was to mount the toe bed. Oh my gosh, did we burn a hole in the lens? We sure did. Sorry about that, kids. I guess we'll have to address that. So story on this thing is, it was a tow truck in the Bloomington, Minnesota area. So if you've got any pictures of this thing, remember what gas station or towing company had this thing back in the day. It's a 68 Chevy, 3/4 ton, 350 4-speed, 2-wheel drive. And it had like a bolt-in tow bed that, you know, it bolted on that plate on the front. And then there's these brackets on the bumper right here. If you know anything about it, hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com. We'd love to know some history on this thing. All right, I'm gonna go see if I can find a spare lens for the camera. Tech tip of the day, don't torch around your GoPro 8. They don't like it. Can we see it on the screen, Duff? How can you not see that big burn mark on there? See it like show up right there? But if we go straight on, it's not there. For weird. Yeah, only shows when you turn it left. Weird. Just looks like a spider hanging out there. Got him!
Got him!
Safety glasses on, let's see if we can whale that thing out of there. Okay, it's welded a lot better than I thought, so maybe we'll just leave her there for now. Of course, they only welded it on the inside. I don't know how they got to that. I like big bars and I cannot lie. Oh, look at this mess. Park brakes, hangers. Look at this freaking mount for the old, god dang, tow bed. Son of a biscuit is doubled up 1/2-inch plate. This whole bumper is too, so I'm guessing whoever did that plate also did the bumper, these mounts. So some more interesting history. It was got a Simley Senior High School, Inver Grove Heights, home of the Spartans, parking permit, 89 and 90. So if you were at Simley High School in Inver Grove Heights in 89 and 90, maybe you saw this pickup. Maybe you got some more information on the history. Hit us up. mortskerepair@gmail.com. I'm gonna have a sandwich and watch for fires. Old Duffalopicus is gonna do the same. And then we're gonna go have some lunch. Gall dang it, burned a hole in our new GoPro 8 that Puddin gave us. I guess we'll have to get another one or figure out how to fix it because we're so good with technology. I'm better with Swedish nut lathes and giant hammers and torches. Speaking of giant hammers, where did the hammer go? Oh, it's right there on the hoist, right where we left it. Let's turn this off before we forget to, before it's dead and we gotta go to Florida to get our Cyclops back. All right, got everything cleaned up. There's still some flaky rust I should chisel off. That was caught in between the overload spring bracket, but everything should be good here. So now we gotta start fitting up our tank, clearance the bumper, because that's where he had his, not my deal, not my jam. That's where he had the fuel filler going up. So since everything's gonna go up 3 inches, we need 3 inches there. So since he already had these ugly cuts with the 4.5-inch angle grinder, I just went straight up with them. Look at how beefy this bumper is. You know, that's 3/8, that's quarter, that's, I don't know, 5/16, quarter. There's some iron in this thing. As always, before installing the tank, you definitely want to get your rocks off. So we're gonna give it a quick blowy first so that it's prepared for its future life being 3 inches higher. All right, everything's looking pretty good. We just gotta make sure that got a way to clamp her down. We're gonna put some insulation between the tank and the frame so that it doesn't rub. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'll show you here. She's gonna sit tight on the frame there, and we'll, like I said, we'll put some type of insulation between there so it doesn't rub, similar to what is on here right now and what the factory does. We should be able to use the holes that he was using before up here on this crossmember. All the fuel line and electrical routing looks like it's going to work out pretty well. We might have to shorten some of that stuff because we're going up 3 inches. Got a strap up here and, you know, holding the back end with the jack and the front end with this strap. Fuel filler neck we might have to shorten just a hair to get her down inside the bumper a little bit, and then that'll get concealed behind the license plate bracket, so everything's good there. We got clearance for our exhaust over here. Yeah, should be pretty all right, and it's sitting up way higher than it was before. It's still hanging below the box side, but it's 3 inches higher than it was, so should be pretty good. So I'm gonna do a little figuring on the straps here and go find some way to insulate that thing from the frame rail. We should be good to go. So I think what we're gonna do back here is run a piece of angle iron between these brackets, and then that way we'll have something to tie our straps to. But before we can do that, we gotta go over to the vise, and we gotta straighten these straps out because that 90 should be facing the other direction. So we'll do that quick. I don't know why Dickie bent him this way, but that's what he did. I suppose it was the best thing he could come up with at the time. I don't know. But they definitely gotta be bent 180 degrees the other way. Do a little blacksmithing work here. There, that'll give us a start. One down, one to go. Tell you what, one of the handiest tools you can have in the shop is a vise. Even if you got a cheap one, you do a lot of work with one of these things. They're like a second set of hands. This one here is a Colombian, which is a pretty good one. Wilton's my favorite. I gotta get that one from the old shop yet. But even like the Harbor Freights and stuff, they do what you need them to do until they don't. You get real wild with them, they get all busted up. Try not to grind on them and weld the jaws shut and all that stuff. It happens though. There we go. Body / blacksmith by Mortske. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, I scrounged up a piece of really rusty 1.5-inch angle iron. We're gonna use that to hold the straps across the front. We're gonna weld it in between those bumper brackets. And to do that, we're gonna cut down this rusty chunk using our Evolution saw. This thing, just picked her up a few weeks ago. This thing is the cat's pajamas. It does way more things than I'll ever need it to do. It's mitering, compounding, sliding. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't miter. It Yeah, it does. Definitely miters. Compounds, slides. It's got way more clamps than your regular chop saw. It doesn't create any smoke. I was worried about it being loud because it's a metal blade. It's not loud. It's same as the other one, cuts 16 times faster. So check them out at evolutionpowertools.com. These things, if you're on the fence about getting one like I was, just bite the bullet and get it, and you'll be so much happier than the old death wheel of smoke. That DeWalt, that thing's been really faithful to me. I bet since we moved to the shop, whatever year and 3 months ago, we've maybe used it once. I don't even know if we have. But this thing is so good. All right, let's get to cutting. Also, if you got a 4-post lift, like this wildfire lift, get yourself some magnets and some LED lights off the old Amazonia. And it's so nice for like rebuilding Pontiac 389s and bending stuff in your brake and cutting stuff. Real good. Tech tip of the day, put lights under your 4-post lift. Nice clean cut. That's shown in real time. It just mows through this stuff. You ain't got a bunch of smoke. It's nice and cool. We got our angle iron all marked out, 20 inches on center. We're gonna drill them with our Delco drill press, which is not the Delco you're used to. It's the Taiwanese Delco. I know, it's low quality. Let's get this thing drilled out and hopefully get her in place. Tech tip of the day, get yourself one of these little magnetic LED lights. Put on your drill press or your bench grinder or wherever you need some extra light. Super handy. Like, they used to be like 10 bucks. Now they're probably like 30 bucks because inflation isn't real. Now we got to figure out where this needs to sit up underneath the frame, and then we'll get it tacked in place, and we should be able to pull that tank down and burn it in real good. I'm not excited about welding it in there with the tank in the spot up there, you know, because, you know, matching the gas tank, boom, boom.
Matching the gas tank, boom, boom.
We don't want that, you know, because this is the money maker right here. Okay, I lied. You're the money maker. Whatever. She's a little breezy out there today, huh, Duff? Yeah. Alrighty. Got her all mocked up here. You want to leave an air gap in here so that you can always suck it up tighter, expansion, contraction, but we are going to put, like I said, some insulation in there, so that'll take up a little bit of it. I thought this would be cool being straight, but I think we got to have it going at an angle, and usually these bolts in applications like this are sitting at an angle. So everything should be good there. I got to tack it in place yet. Up front here, we got a little bit of an air gap yet, so we still can put these carriage bolts are just in there for mock-up, so we'll put a shorter bolt in there when we get to that point, and then might take some trial and error to figure out what length we need in there. But I got this level, and it's pretty square in there. Tacker in place. It's really close to the fuel filler neck, but we got room, so should be fine there. Ready to start going back together. And old Duff is nowhere to be found. Who's gonna lay the tacks for me? All right, she's all burned in. I even tacked this bracket is laminated together, 2 pieces, so I burned that all together as best I could. Yeah, now we're gonna go look for some insulating material, and we'll be putting things back together. And then we can get this thing to French out here and work on something of our own, because we got a lot of projects in here. Speaking of projects, look at the old hooter hauler here. We got some seats that are better out of a donor plow truck. We got this thing stripped out so we can clean her out. Looks like she had a broken window at one time. And we're gonna put a different headliner in it, and we're gonna put actual legit radio in it. Turns out Radios from 99 to 02s don't fit in 03 on up. I think it's because the CAN bus stuff. We're gonna steal a steering wheel out of the other one, hopefully. Yeah, all of the upgrades. I don't know, we might even steal the carpet out of the other one. I don't hate rubber floor mats, but I don't know, I kind of like carpet. I'm kind of torn. 300,000 miles, she's a little rough around the edges. But those seats are gonna be good. Clean up all our plastics. Oh, we got a sign that I gave my old man like 10 years ago. All right, enough about all this junk in here, the Hooter Holler and the Legion sign. Let's go find us some insulating material. I think I got just the material, and it was free. Free 99. Thanks, Napa Todd. Go check him out. Land Shark Garage. Windy. Oh, hey, pal. What are you doing? Figured I was going for a walk, so you better come protect me. Oh my gosh, I forgot to roll the windows up in the King when it rained. Good thing this thing is pretty bare bones, we're not gonna hurt it any. The old 88 to 94 seat's gonna be a little soggy for a while. Good thing it's on your side. That 55 Chevy ain't a bad car. Or the 65 Buick. Or the 64 Buick. Or the 51 Chevy pickup. And there might be some Hudson V8 engines sitting on that trailer. Or Packards, I don't know. What's the difference? Oh man, it's all muddy back here. Perfect. Well, I think when we clean this out, hopefully we saved it. There was some fire hose, yeah. Ooh, or we could use this. Or we're gonna use the fire hose. This stuff's gotta be like freaking amazing. We're gonna try the fire hose, but we'll take that strap too as a backup plan. Or we could use seatbelt material. We'll see. You wanna carry some of this, buddy? Easy on the Jaguar. Did you just puke on my Jaguar? Yeah, it has that effect on us. All right, I'm just gonna carry my stuff through the muck back here. We really needed the rain, but it's a mess back here now. I'm gonna scrape our feet off on our 20-foot H&H trailer. There we go. You gonna wipe your feet off? No, because you're a swamp donkey. This is most definitely overkill. We got 2 pieces cut 26 inches long. Took a lot of cutting with a carpet knife, but ideally, I'd probably only need half of this, but that would require cutting it lengthwise twice. And I don't have a skizzers that's that good. Should be plenty good. I mean, it's rated for 300 PSIs, so Duff says it's a great idea. All right, let's get this tank installed. Dang, she's in there real good. For those long bolts up front, I got this thing from Crescent years ago. It's like a through ratchet and socket. And I probably used this tool about, I don't know, it's probably like the 4th time we used it. We used it when my cousin and Shane and I went and got some 2-post lifts out of a old Subaru dealership. It was really handy for taking those down, and there's been a couple other times, but yeah, get yourself some of these and throw them on the shelf. I don't even know if they make them anymore. I'm sure there's other brands that make them. I've had really good luck with Crescent stuff. Crescent, Gear Wrench, pretty good stuff. Anywho, yeah, save the day. Now we just got to button everything up, hook up our fuel gauge, our fuel pump wires, and our fuel lines. Yeah, test it out. I think she should be good. Or so I hope. It's better. It's more solider, gooder, firmer than it was before. And it's not hanging down, getting beat by rocks from the tires and getting backed into curbs and all that stuff. And it doesn't look like a stupid, poopy, soggy, huggy diaper just hanging out back. She's all buttoned back up, wheels on. I think I got all the electrical connections made. Tank's tight, license plate's back on. It fits way better than before. It was always kind of cacked, kitty wampus like that because it would hit the cap, which it still does, but the cap was down lower, so it kind of stuck it out. Or maybe we slid the tank ahead. I don't know. Is it close to the exhaust? Yeah, there's plenty of room there. Plenty of room. But before we take her for a test drive, what is this? Oh yeah, let's get rid of that park brake stuff that we missed. Let's get this extra fuel tank out of here. It's just one less thing to rub through his good fuel lines, so let's get that out of there. Oh, what is this, like unistrut for clamping the fuel lines? I don't know what that stuff is with all the holes in it. Somebody will comment. All right, let's do this. Where to start? Well, looks like, oh, of course they're metric too. Well done, Dickie. Tie up a couple loose wires under there, and then we're gonna set her on the ground and do a little harvesting while I was underneath there. Those are all zip ties that old Dickie never cut off there, so. God, it irritates me. Trim your zip ties, kids. And do it properly with one of these close snip pliers. And it's raining. Who wants to go outside and be a stinky dog in the mud holes? Duff does. Oh, part of the National Motor Club. He said he picked these doors up because they were nice, and he paid $500 back in the day for them, which they actually are really nice doors, but they had some type of different mirrors on them, and so somebody started welding the holes shut, which is fine. I get it. He put these mirrors on last summer. The problem is when somebody welded the holes shut, they kind of ground it down, but they kind of didn't at all on some of them, and that really bothers me. So I'm gonna grind them down. Cause yeah, like those aren't even good welds. I see why they didn't grind them down, because it's gonna look even worse when I grind it down. Oh, they didn't even do a good job of grinding it down. Don't worry, I'm an experienced grinder. Let's do this. I really wanted to go to one of the parts stores, you know, 60 miles away that can paint, match, rattle can paint. Buff a spot on this, run this up there, get some paint, but we are out of time. He's got to get an alignment on Monday, and he's got to pack, yada, yada, yada. So we'll see. Maybe we can sneak it away from him and sneak that into another video, but it's not going to make it into this video. I just want to get rid of the clutch pedal now. So I think we're just gonna take the old hacksaw and go underneath the dash and whack that out of there. What? You got more feet than me, so you could use that clutch pedal, but we're getting rid of it. You can't drive anyway. Not a stick or an automatic. No thumbs. We better see if our plumbing and electrical works. Pump's running. Fuel gauge says full, so maybe that's why it was so heavy. Hey, it's working. Perfect. Brakes still work. Oh, we're golden. Get away from the hoist so we can get underneath and remove a pedal. Death wheel or Sawzall? What do you think, Duff? It's attached to a shaft that goes through the brake pedal, so you can't remove it per se the correct way. So we're just gonna do it the wrong way. park brake levers froze. Imagine that. Son of a biscuit. But I can unfreeze it. We're good at cutting park brake cables. Oh yeah. Free as a bird now. Okay. We're just gonna cut through a couple of wires. Probably didn't need them anyway. This is a bad idea. Fuse panel still intact. Come on, little buddy. Come on now. Oh, it's like a loose tooth. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, we can get a spring for our stash. Tuck his tack wires up here that he's no longer using. He doesn't want to get rid of the tack. Well, I didn't say he didn't want to get rid of it. He's not using the tack, but it's still there. Cool. And we'll put his park brake back where it was. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. One clutch pedal delete coming right up. Hey, there's the cool little spring that holds the rod that I couldn't find. So we're gonna stash that away in our Jesus clips that we never use. Oh, and that's the bump stop. I don't know why that fell out, but it did. Yeah, those clips are hard to find when you need them. Bump stops, we don't need those. Now where we're going. One other thing that bothers me is this fast controller, this wire just hanging there. I just looked since I was under the dash and there's all kinds of access to drill a hole here. So let's try to punch a hole in his windshield. Let's see if we can't fish that wire through there. So we're gonna have a small hole and then we're gonna have to ream it out unless we can push these Deutsch pins out. I don't know that I got a tool for that. We got a tool for that, Duff? Deutsch pin tool? Maybe. Or maybe we could drill the hole for him and then he could unpin this and then you only have to have a hole that big for the harness instead of a gaping hole to fit the connector through. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just put a hole for him. He can run the wiring later, or I can see if I can find a Deutsch pin connector, but I won't have that by the end of the video. So we're gonna do the hard part because Mickelson says he hates drilling holes. It's been so long since I took one of these apart. I think you just pull that plug out and then there's like a round push tool you use. Anywho, let's just drill about a 3/8 hole for him. Let's lay the Landshark Garage fire hose up on the dash so when it blasts through with my drill bit, it hits that and doesn't go straight into his windshield. Because this thing actually has a nice windshield, surprisingly. There, he's got a nice 3/8 hole in his dash. He can run them wires up and hook them up to his fast display panel here. 67 1/8's got this silly park brake. 69 to 72 has got a pedal over here. And I've got a Cyclops stuck up there I need to remember. So, we can't repin the Deutsch connectors for him, but we can put the hole. Get yourself some fire hose, man. What other good things can we do with this stuff? Land Shark was saying you can use it for, you fill it with sand, for like sandbagging to dam up water. Probably use it to dam up the water that runs underneath these garage doors. We need to break up the pad out there. It's too short anyway, and put a French drain in or some gall darn thing, because there's no eave on the front of this building. And then the whole freaking yard slopes to these doors, so yeah. And then it has to run all the way back there, 60 feet, to go to a floor drain. So yeah, check it out, Duff. Let me know what you think. All right, I think the old Dickie wagon here is ready to rock. While I was finishing this thing up yesterday, one of my buddies stopped by, and he said, yeah, I bought the property we live on finally, whatever things came together. And I said, did you get the land with the gas pump on it? He says, yeah. He says, you want it? Come get it. So when somebody says, come get it, we're gonna go get it. So I'd love to use Mickelson's pickup to haul it, but it's got a topper on it, and it's kind of his. And the old Cowboy Cadillac would work super fantastic because it's a full 8-foot box, no toolbox. It's nice and low, so you can just roll a great big tall gas pump in there. But with the whole alignment thing going on the front end, we're just gonna leave that thing until we can get an alignment tomorrow. So the orange Ford 4-wheel drive it is. It's got a long bed, it sits a little bit higher. It's also got a toolbox there. But old Rex would work perfect with overdrive and a long bed, but got a water tank in there, and if I unloaded that, then I'd have to load it back up again. There she is. Looks like their garden needs to be weeded, but an old Visible. I wonder what we're gonna have to do to get that thing down, eh, Duff? Oh, it's missing the back, he did say that. Well, apparently it was hooked up, so we gotta cut the pipe coming out of the ground. There must be an underground tank. And it's all square nuts. Luckily, the old locking pliers came through to save the day. And they call these Visibles because you could see the gas, so you'd pump this up there with that pump that I'm sure is dried up by hand, and then you could see what you were buying, because people were concerned that people were selling them gas, or were selling them water, blended off gas or whatever. So I'm guessing these are from like the 20s and 30s, and then they got smaller after that. There was still a ball that you could see what you were getting, and then they went electric. So still got the hose on it even. Part of it anyway. You're a lot of help, pal. Well, slight mishap there. The glass was already busted, so they make reproduction glass. We'll put that in there. Need to find a back. Need to get the base yet though, so let me show you what's going on there. It looks like they just kind of plopped the whole thing down on the concrete when it was wet, because the concrete is sticking to the base. So we're gonna have to knock that out of there, or take the whole piece of concrete or something. Look at all these goodies that were in there. You better take that monkey wrench. That should stay with it, Duff, but we'll have to come back, get the base another time. Like I said, we got to do a little doctoring on it, unfortunately. Good news is nobody died, so there's that. And this is the side it fell on, and it didn't really hurt that, so good to go. Ready to go for a ride? I guess so. Made it home, didn't we, Duff? But we also picked up some garbage along the way. Whole lot of air cleaners. These things are getting hard to come by, so you know, you got to save them all when you can. A lot of oil baths, but there's some Ford Motor Company dry type and some GM ones tucked in here, and some aluminum bell housings, 90 fin Buick drum, some overhead CAD V8 parts, like 330, 365, something like that. 3-post steering wheels, yeah. But it's starting to rain, so we had to put this thing inside, and we'll be able to go for a test drive. So we got to find a spot to put all this stuff, because, you know, we got to have it organized so we can find it. But I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for the week. We got a lot done on that pickup. It should be good. I think he said it's a 26-hour drive to wherever he's going in Florida, so we wish him the best of luck. He's gonna pull a U-Haul trailer down with it, just a little guy, or like 5x8 or something like that, to get all this stuff in there. Hopefully we can go down and visit him and maybe make some content down there, or he'll come back and visit us. Like I said, if I had another week, there's a bunch of stuff that I would do to that pickup, but we just don't have another week. It's got to go to alignment tomorrow, as does Maduli, as does Reggie. So we got the alignment shop full over at Mortske. So check out our merch, mortske.com. We got all kinds of cool stuff. We got the magnetic koozies now. We got screwdrivers. We got air fresheners. We got keychains. All really cool stuff, good quality stuff. So check that out. Appreciate it. We just rolled over our 500th order yesterday afternoon. So you guys are killing it. I appreciate all the support of the channel. Let us know what you want to see on there. If you want to see us do some flannels, you want to see us do ball caps, you want to see us do sombreros, banners, you name it. What do you want to see? So thank you very much for watching. Check out our other videos. Remember, it doesn't matter how you get it done so long as you're having fun. It's always fun working on big block, posi, fuel injected overdrive, 67 to 72s. Yeah. All right, back to work. Also, if you know where this thing come from, you got any information on it, hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com. And I guess, according to the August, now I remember it, all we need is a needle nose, and we can pull that out, and then a little Mortske screwdriver, and we can pop the pins out, pop them back in. So that'll be easy to fix. So that'll be way better too. We'll get that done too. I can handle that.